Yo guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we will be getting cultured with Mary Herron's American Psycho. Alright, so American Psycho is the next film upon our list of classics that we are talking about. I saw this movie in theater as part of some secret movie, where you don't know what you're gonna watch. So it was like, what are they calling it? It was sneak preview, but then it was a mystery classic. So they did not know, you did not know anything about it. You just get two hints, and the two hints for this film were Y2K, so year 2000. So we knew that the movie was probably around the year 2000 or came out in the year 2000. And then the other one was, if you take away an E, then you get Bateman, or if you take away an E, then you get a superhero. And and no one knew what it was. And we were all looking at, like, maybe it's going to be X-Men, because if you take away the E, you have X-Men, which can be a one person, which maybe can Wolverine or something like that. So a lot of people thought it was going to be X-Men. Wasn't, of course. Some people thought it was going to be Spider-Man, but everyone else for sure it was going to be a superhero movie. And then the movie came, and everyone was like, huh? Oh, it's going to be American Psycho? And then everyone was, oh, Bateman, Batman. And we were all making fools of ourselves. It was pretty funny. It was a pretty good experience. We should definitely do that more often. So I watched American Psycho. Of course, this is a very big and very great movie, and that is the reason why I am talking about it today in depth in my Getting Cultured With series. In the end, I will tell you what my personal thoughts on this movie are, but before we get to that, I will tell you if this movie is in any world rankings, like the top 250 of Letterboxd and IMDb. I will tell you if there are any other adaptations, remakes, sequels, or prequels, and I will also tell you 3 fun facts that happened behind the scenes, and also 3 reasons why this movie changed Hollywood so much in the years that happened after this film. So with that being said, let's get straight into those 3 cultural impact moments. American Psycho was a satire of the yuppie culture in the 1980s. It uses Patrick Bateman as a hyper-stylized embodiment of things like materialism, success, vanity, but mostly status obsession, image, and superficial success. In this way, the film exposes the moral emptiness around things like wealth, beauty, and success. Not only that, but also appearance. It is a critique on how consumption and status can always look negatively upon things like your inner self, and how the status quo and everything you can see on the surface negatively impacts the way on who you can be or who you are internally. One of the lasting influences of this film, and the one thing that people mainly get from this film, is how it never actually tells you what is real and what is happening in Patrick Bateman's head. What is a fantasy, what is a hallucination, and what happened inside of his head? Are the things that he confesses actually true? You never know that. This ambiguity encourages things like multiple viewings or debate with other people. It also makes you do an analysis of things like your emotions, status, and the way you feel about something. And it also influenced other films that toy with the boundaries between happenings and fakes, or realism and fantasy. There were some iconic scenes and some iconic styles that this movie uses that they have repeated countless times after this film came out, which American Psycho made more mainstream. Think about a small thing like the business cards, or the way how Patrick Bateman critiques music in this film. But also the wardrobe or the product placement that is very visible in the film. And also think about the formal voiceover. All of these things have become a shorthand for what stylized persons and wealthy persons can do in a film. It shows some kind of sociopathic elegance, and they nailed that in this film, and they use it in countless other films as well. This way, Patrick Bateman has become a cultural reference point. The man is now famous for things like dark humor, male narcissism, and also critique of privilege. And, perhaps ironically, he has also become the focal point of things like fashion and the alpha male meme. I, of course, also have 3 fun facts about you, with the first fact being that most of the script is actually straight from the book. The filmmakers kept much of the dialogues in the book exactly the same in the film, so it doesn't break down anything of Patrick Bateman's character. It helps preserve the feel, tone, and insight of Patrick Bateman's interiority. Because of the focal point on wealth and pop culture and music from that time, the film used a lot of music from the 1980s. But a movie studio can't just regularly use any music that they want. They have to get licenses for that music and how long they have to use the music for. Getting all the rights for all of these tracks is what cost a substantially huge amount of money for this film to be made. For this film, Christian Bale chose to do a thing called method acting. A method actor does actually what he does on screen, also off screen, so he keeps the persona alive even when the cameras aren't rolling. For this film, Christian Bale not kill any people, of course, but he did keep the American accent on for the entire shoot. So at the rap party that happened after the shoot, when he went back to his normally Welsh accent, a lot of people were surprised because they thought that the American accent was his actual voice. And a bonus fun fact for you, there is an inspiration for Christian Bale to use for Patrick Bateman. Mainly when he saw an interview of Tom Cruise on The Late Show with David Letterman, he thought that his friendliness was very intense but also very hollow. That very intense friendliness with nothing behind the eyes is actually what inspired him for Patrick Bateman, which is pretty funny in my opinion. Even though American Psycho is widely seen as one of the greatest movies ever, it's not that great because it's not currently in the Letterboxd or IMDb top 250. Not that it's not a great movie, it's a fucking awesome movie. It's just not seen as one of the top 250 best ones. And if this movie has any adaptations, remakes, prequels, or sequels, the answer is, well, this one is the adaptation of the book of the same name. There is a musical adaptation that aired in London in 2013. It's also called American Psycho. But there are no remakes, sequels, or adaptations from this film that have aired on a cinematic level. But there is talks of a new remake of this film, or actually a new version of the adaptation of the novel by Luca Guadagnino with Austin Butler involved. It hasn't been confirmed, but there are talks about it. For me personally, I have seen American Psycho twice now. I did love it the second time a little bit more, maybe because I watched it on the big screen or instead of the small screen, but I think everything in the movie theater was way more intense. And even though you know what's coming and you know what happened in the film because you know what's about to happen, you can see a lot of details a lot more, and that's what I absolutely loved about this film. It's incredibly rewatchable, it's incredibly well acted, it's incredibly great in story standpoints, it confuses you but in a great way, it's manages to make things more clear, which is very nice, of course, but in the end you just don't know what is real and what isn't, so you want to talk about the film, you want to see other people's perspective on the film and on the events that happened in it to make sure that you have a good, valuable opinion on it. So this movie makes you want to talk about it, and that's what I genuinely deeply love about it. Is it the greatest film ever made? No, but Christian Bale is incredibly awesome in this film. He does so in an incredible way, and he is just insanely well casted for this role. The way he portrays it is awesome. And a lot of people talk about The Dark Knight and about his portrayal of Bruce Wayne as some kind of an influence from this American Psycho, and you can kind of see the comparison. So if you haven't seen this one and you have seen the Dark Knight trilogy, well, think about if Bruce Wayne was a big asshat and a big asshole and even more wealthy, then he would have probably become the American Psycho, which is nice. In the end, I definitely really loved American Psycho for what it was. I'm going to give this one 4.5 stars and a heart. What did you think of it? Please let me know in the comments down below, and I would like to see you in the next video. Thank you, and bye-bye. Next week, it will be a painful episode of Getting Cultured With. Thank you, and see you next week.